everybody, Sickness here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. And today I headed out to my local Dollar Tree store. And for those of you who do not know what the Dollar Tree is, it's a dollar store. It's your typical dollar store. They sell everything for $1. I don't know how far they spread out across America, but we have plenty of them here in Pennsylvania and I think the surrounding states. So right now, new shipments of DVDs are showing up at local Dollar Tree stores. Every few months they get in a new shipment of DVDs. It's usually, you know, okay stuff. Sometimes there's a few hidden gems in there. I ended up picking up, I believe, 9 titles, so definitely some stuff I wanted to get. There are definitely some decent titles in there, so let's take a look at what I picked up. The first title I picked up, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Kaena the Prophecy. This is a title I've come across many times. I always see this at flea markets and used at other stores here and there, but for whatever reason, I just keep passing it up. It looks like something I might be interested in, but for whatever reason, there's always something else I'd rather get. Glad I held off because got this for $1. That was a great deal. I look forward to checking it out. Then I picked up PTU. Yes, a Dragon Dynasty movie at my local dollar store. Very cool. Love the Dragon Dynasty titles. I'm trying to get the entire collection. Will that ever happen? Probably not. It's pretty difficult to get them all, at least for me who doesn't want to spend an arm and a leg on them. So definitely trying to get all these. Very cool to come across this for $1. This was a no-brainer. Definitely looking forward to checking it out. Then I grabbed RFK. This was a complete blind buy. I know nothing about this, but it is a made-for-TV Fox movie, and for that I thought maybe it'll be pretty decent. I usually do tend to like movies like this, so for $1, I had to grab it. Then I grabbed The Contractor. This is a movie I actually haven't seen for a long while now. Saw this back when it first came out, and I remember not really liking it all that much. But I figured for $1, I'll give it a second chance, because honestly, I really don't remember what this movie is about at all. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not so sure. But again, for $1, I figured, what the hell, I'll pick it up, give it a second chance. If I don't like it, it was only $1. The next title I grabbed was Flakes. This interested me. It says right here from the director of Heathers. It does have Zooey Deschanel. I do tend to like her. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to get this one or not, so got out my iPhone, looked up some reviews on Amazon, and it actually gets pretty decent reviews, I believe 4 out of 5 stars. So I figured for $1, I'll pick it up, check it out. I'm sure this is something the wife's going to want to see, so it's something we can watch together. For $1, look forward to checking it out. Hopefully it's as good as everybody says. Then I grabbed 2 Stormhawk DVDs. Some more blind buys here. I've actually never seen this series. It is a Cartoon Network series, and I do love Cartoon Network series, usually for the most part. I'm a huge fan of animation. I love cartoons. I'm thinking I'm going to dig this, and for $1 a piece, I had to get it just to check it out and see what the show's all about. Next, I grabbed Ned and Stacy, the complete first season. Another blind buy. I know nothing about this show. I've never seen this show. I do think I remember the show being on TV, though. I read the synopsis, and it sort of came back to me a little bit, but for the most part, I know nothing about this because I've never actually watched the show, but for $1, I thought it looked interesting enough to pick up. Hopefully it's a good sitcom. And the last title I grabbed is definitely the gem of the haul, and that was Metropolis. Yes, Metropolis for $1. I hear this is a great anime movie. I've just recently started getting the anime, so I've definitely wanted to check this out. I'm not sure how much it relates to the original Metropolis movie, which I absolutely love. I'm a huge fan of that. So I'm not quite sure if it's a complete, basically, anime remake or if it differs at all. I really don't know. But I definitely look forward to checking this out. And for $1, this was a fantastic buy. So that's what I bought today. So now it's what I watched. And today I checked out The Empire Strikes Back. Once again, for my Star Wars Trilogy Laserdisc set, which I'm going to put down because it's extremely heavy. And just like when I went into Star Wars, I decided to look at the movie in a different way. As I said before, normally when I watch Star Wars, I kind of see it as one big movie. All three, the original trilogy anyway, I see all 3 movies kind of as one big whole movie, and I've always looked at it that way. I've always sat down, I've always watched the entire trilogy back to back, and for me it's just one big movie. So this time going into this series, as I said, I kind of wanted to look at the movies individually, get a feel for each one individually, kind of, you know, take my mind away from the other 2 movies when I'm watching one of them, and just kind of focus on that movie. As I said with Star Wars, you know, it's a good movie, but I didn't think it was anything necessarily special. I didn't think it was anything amazing. I said that, you know, had it not had the 2 sequels, that I probably would have just said, it's mediocre. You know, a good movie, a movie that I like and I would recommend and I would definitely have in my collection, but I would have said mediocre. As far as The Empire Strikes Back, on the other hand, I gotta say, you know, looking at it again just as its own movie, It's fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this movie. A lot of people, you know, I know a lot of people like say this movie is their favorite, and I can see why. I think it's a really strong, epic movie. It's got a lot going for it. A lot of great action, a lot of great story. It really builds things up, and, you know, you got Vader versus Luke, and, you know, father, son, and this is, of course, the classic, you know, I am your father movie, and it's such a great, great film, and I was really blown away, again, just by looking at it by itself. I mean, I've seen this movie a ton of times, but just looking at it at its own film and forgetting the other two films exist, I really, really enjoyed it, and I definitely think it's a huge step up from Star Wars, which, you know, again, I thought was a little bit dull. It had a lot of sort of boring moments, kind of dragged on here and there, and it wasn't necessarily anything huge and epic, whereas this movie, it definitely ups the epic scale. This movie is definitely badass. I would definitely say that, and again, I really, really enjoy this film, and I'm glad I'm looking at these movies individually, getting a feel for each one individually. It's just a new way of looking at the movie, and I think by doing this, I'm appreciating the movies more. You know, I even though I said, you know, I thought Star Wars, you know, looking at it by itself, I thought it was a little dull and a little, you know, it had its issues. You know, even though I said that, I still enjoyed watching it for what it was, and now I enjoy the movie more, and now I enjoy The Empire Strikes Back more, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching Return of the Jedi next, you know, again, by itself. So, I'm definitely really liking watching movies like this, and I think another thing I really like about The Empire Strikes Back is I like the 80s feel of it. I gotta say, Star Wars kind of had a 70s feel. You watch the movie, and it just sort of has a 70s sort of space movie kind of feel. You know, it's like a 70s sci-fi movie sort of feel. Then when you get into The Empire Strikes Back, the movie, it feels like an 80s movie. I mean, it has that 80s feel to it. All the puppetry and just the dialogue and the way the movie flows. It's definitely 80s, and I love that, because I love great 80s, you know, epic, sci-fi, adventure, fantasy, action movies. You know, I'm a huge fan of those, so I do like the fact that this movie also has an 80s feel to it, which really helped the movie for me too. Probably why I enjoyed the movie more. Because again, I never really looked at it like that. I never really thought of, oh, you know, Star Wars has a 70s feel and Empire Strikes Back has an 80s feel. I never thought about that. Again, you know, I just see all three movies as a whole usually, and I don't really think, I kind of don't really see them as having any sort of decade feel, because they're just what they are. But again, looking at them each individually, now I can kind of get that feel to them, and definitely enjoyed The Empire Strikes Back. So that's it. I'll stop rambling on about that. It's a fantastic movie. I don't need to go into explaining it. I'm sure you've all seen it, and if for any reason you haven't seen the original Star Wars trilogy, if you know you're living under a rock and you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And I remember, I think somebody left me a comment on my last video saying that their wife or their girlfriend watched Star Wars and she didn't like it, so she didn't want to watch the next two. If for any reason you've done that and you watched the first one and you thought maybe it wasn't all that great, because again, I think out of the original trilogy, the first movie is definitely, I don't want to say the worst, because, you know, how can you say any of the Star Wars movies are worse? But you know what I mean. It's not the best out of the original three. So if for any reason maybe you've seen the first one and you just thought this is not for me, I'm not going to watch the second two, give them a chance, especially if you like 80s movies and you know you want to see something great, something big, something epic. You know, if you don't like Empire Strikes Back, fine. Don't bother watching Return of the Jedi. You know, fine. And you know, if you don't like that, you're probably not going to like Star Wars at all. But I would definitely say give it a watch if you've seen the first one but you haven't seen the last or the second two. It's so weird now to say, oh, the last two or the first two. You know what I mean? We're talking about the original trilogy here, not all 6 movies. So anyway, that's that. So that's it for what I bought when I watched today. As far as tomorrow goes, I may or may not have a video. I have to do more crap with the lawyer tomorrow night, right after work. So I'm not sure how long that will take. If it takes a while, I might not have a video. I do plan on probably going out and buying something. I'll maybe run out my lunch break or something and pick something up. So definitely plan on buying stuff. As far as watching goes, hopefully tonight or tomorrow night, I'll have time to watch Return of the Jedi. hopefully that's what I would like to do. But again, I don't know how long all this lawyer stuff's going to take. So again, I may or may not have a video tomorrow, but I'm definitely going to try to put one out. But if you don't see one tomorrow, that's why. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be here to talk to you about what I bought when I watch tomorrow. See ya. Figured I'd check it out because I do love animation.